welcome back to another episode of Good Grief, Life After Loss. Thank you for being here today. Before we dive into today's episode, I have a few things that I wanted to cover. First off, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who took the time to sit down and listen to last week's episode. That was definitely a rough episode. Rough to record, and for all of you, I think a rough episode to listen to as well, because that was the episode where I finally shared my story of losing my brother Sam. So I just want to thank everyone who actually took the time to listen to that episode, and thank you to so many of you who reached out to me and kind of validated the fact that this episode was necessary and that I hopefully did Sam's story justice. So I just appreciate all of you for not only listening, but for creating this safe space where I felt like I could actually finally share that story. I'm really happy with how it turned out, and I loved getting to read encouraging words from all of you, so thank you. Second thing is I am recording this just a few days before I fly home to Park City for our annual Live Like Sam Gala, so you can definitely expect a few episodes covering that coming up in the future, but I am both very excited because I always love going home to Park City. I love getting to see friends and family, and the leaves are all starting to turn yellow and orange and red, so it's just the best time to be in Park City, so I can't wait for that. But I'm also trying to be gentle with myself and acknowledge that it's going to be difficult to get up on a stage in front of 500 people, most of them strangers, and talk about the fact that it's been 10 years since losing my brother Sam. So, I don't know, cross your fingers for me. I think it'll go well, but I'm definitely a little more nervous this year than I have been in the past. And the third thing, which is completely unrelated, but I was just thinking about it as I sat down to record this, is that I absolutely love getting to live in the city. Living in Boston is a dream come true, but oh my God, it makes it so inconvenient to find a time to actually sit down and record these episodes. I already am a procrastinator, so there's already limited hours in the day for me to record an episode, but oh my God, it is so noisy and just loud in the city. The streets outside, I can hear sirens and honking and people yelling at each other for not knowing how to drive, and like people throwing empty cans and bottles around in the back alleys, and even the rats running around squeaking at each other. Like, I can hear all of it, and it makes it so hard to find time where I can actually record an episode in peace. So, all to say, if you ever hear background noise, you know why. So, this week we are continuing the special series of honoring 10 years since I lost my brother Sam. And like I said, in the past I talked about sharing the actual full story of losing Sam. I also talked about the lessons I've learned and the parts of grief that still hurt. But today I want to do something a little bit different. I want to do an episode where I am talking to 14-year-old Skylar, to the girl who had just lost her older brother, and I want to share what I wish I had known back then. And my hope is that by sharing these reflections, you, my listeners, may also find comfort, whether you're in your first year of grief or 10 years down the road, like me, hoping to make it all a little more relatable. So, here it is, what I wish I knew 10 years ago. Okay, number one is that it will feel impossible at first, and maybe for a long time too. I just remember wondering, how will I ever be okay again? Because the weight of loss just felt unbearable. Definitely in those first few days, weeks, months, it all felt just too heavy to carry. But what I wish I knew then is that the intensity does soften with time. You will learn to carry it. You will find your smile again. You will find your laugh again. And when joy does return, you will feel guilty for it. But joy and grief can coexist. They don't cancel each other out. And although this horrible, tragic, awful thing happened to you, this is not the end of your life. You still have so much more living left to do, and so much more joy to be had in your life. The second thing I would say to 14-year-old Skylar is that your friends will try, but they just won't know how. When Sam died, my friends were just kids too. I was 14, and so were they. And that means that they didn't really know what to say or how to act or how to show up for me. And sometimes I just found myself feeling so frustrated by that. But I think what I wish I knew is that they were trying. And ultimately, that is what mattered. They loved me, but grief is uncomfortable and awkward. And even at 24, I still feel that way about it. And I was learning how to grieve, and they were learning how to support a grieving friend for the first time. And also, a side note to my younger self, this is just as important and something I feel like I tell any person in my life who suddenly becomes a young griever or a new griever. Something that I wish I knew during the time of Sam being in Australia in a coma, the time after him passing away and returning home, is that you do not have to respond to every message, every kind text, every "I'm thinking of you" and blue heart emoji. I know you want to. You want to thank all those people and make sure that they know that you appreciate them, but it's exhausting and it's okay to take space. And I think being a people pleaser myself, I really struggled with that, and it honestly put a big burden on me when at the time of experiencing grief, when it's so fresh and so raw, you don't have the energy to focus on other people and worry about other people. All you need to worry about during that time is taking care of yourself. So I wish I had known that. I wish I had known my friends were trying and doing their best, and I wish I had known I didn't have to try and do my best. It was okay to not respond and to leave them on red. The third thing is that grief magically finds a way to sneak into the joyful moments. I think initially I expected grief to show up in full force in those hard moments, birthdays, anniversaries, holidays. But what I was not prepared for was for it to crash into the happiest, most joyful, exciting moments. I will never forget when I was 18, I went on a month-long volunteer trip to Africa, and I had the opportunity to go bungee jumping, which was something I didn't even know I wanted to do, but it was an item on Sam's bucket list, so I felt like, hey, if I have the opportunity to do this, I have to do this. And so I did. I went bungee jumping, and it made me feel so alive and like I could do anything. I felt so brave, and I remember thinking Sam would have absolutely loved this. Like, Sam would have loved this, and I would have loved if we could do this together. And then right in the middle of this incredible adventure, as I was upside down, bouncing around below this bridge, I just felt this immense, overwhelming feeling of grief and sadness and longing and wishing Sam had been there. And I wish I had just known in that moment, at that time, that it was okay. It's normal that happy moments are also going to be laced with sadness and grief. Number 4, I wish younger Skylar had known that talking about Sam is what keeps him alive. Because at first I was scared to bring him up. I was scared especially to bring him up to new friends, to even tell new friends about him, because I was worried they wouldn't understand, scared that it would make people uncomfortable, turn the situation awkward. But what I have learned is that sharing Sam's story, talking about his memory, has been one of the most powerful ways to keep him close. And honestly, what I think I was most shocked by is that people actually want to know. Like, even today, I was sitting at work telling my coworker about our Live Like Sam gala that I'm going home for, and she was so excited to hear about it. She was asking me, like, what are we going to do to honor Sam? We started talking about signs from the dead, and she was, like, asking me, do I ever get signs from Sam? And saying, like, tell me if you do, and, like, wanted to talk about it. And I just thought that was so cool, and, like, I don't know, it's always such a relief when you bring up the person you've lost, and others not only want to hear it and allow you to talk, but ask questions and participate in the conversation. And it's something younger Skylar was so afraid of. And now I realize that talking about him does not keep me stuck in the past. It does not bring down the mood. It just keeps Sam's memory alive. And I think that's so important. It's something I really wish I had known sooner. Number 5 is that guilt is also part of living. The guilt honestly hits the hardest when I accomplish something that never would have happened if Sam were still here, like the Live Like Sam Foundation, like this podcast. And I used to wrestle with that. Like, is it wrong to celebrate something that I've accomplished born out of Sam's death? But what I wish I knew then is that guilt will visit, but it does not have to stay. I am allowed to thrive. Sam would want that, and it really is fully in my control to decide if I want to let that emotion of guilt ruin accomplishment and pride and joy. And thankfully, I've found ways to sit in the guilt for a minute, but to kick it out and not invite it to stay any longer. All right, I have 2 more. Number 6 is that milestones will sting more with time. When I was 14, I didn't think about Sam missing my wedding or meeting my kids or becoming the world's coolest uncle or becoming a parent himself. Because at 14, all of those moments felt so far away. And honestly, they still feel far away, but those moments do feel closer at 24 than they did at 14. And that ache has suddenly become a lot sharper. That reality has kind of settled in. And I wish at 14 that I had known that was going to happen, that eventually as I got older, some things would hurt more. But that is okay, because those milestones are also an opportunity. They are a chance to keep him present in new ways. And I also, as sad as I feel that my kids will never get to know their cool Uncle Sam, my kids will always know who Sam is. They will know all of his stories. They will cherish all of the memories that I share with them. He will be their hero. And what I am very excited about is that soon we are publishing a Live Like Sam children's book in Sam's honor. One of our amazing board members, Travis, and his wife both authored and illustrated a children's book, Fly Sam Fly, and we're actually unveiling it this weekend at our Live Like Sam gala. And as bittersweet as it is, it's also so exciting for me to know that one day when I have kids, I will have a way to share Sam's story with them. And I don't know, I just think it's really cool, and I love knowing that even though those milestones are going to hurt so bad, they're going to present new opportunities for me to make memories with Sam and to carry on his legacy. And lastly, maybe most importantly, is that if I could go back in time and talk to 14-year-old Skylar who had just had her world ripped apart and felt like, what's the point? I wish I could tell her that you will be proud of yourself. If my 14-year-old self could see me now, I think she would be pretty impressed, pretty excited, pretty proud. Maybe she wouldn't be shocked, because even then, no matter how upset and broken I was, deep down I also knew that I would survive this. I knew that I couldn't let Sam's death ruin me, and I think she would be proud of the ways that I have grown, of the ways I have kept Sam's memory alive, and the way I am working to help others through their grief too. I think at 14 it felt impossible to know that there were so many opportunities for me to make lemonade out of these really shitty lemons that I had been given. And I'm just proud of what I've accomplished, because I know 14-year-old Skylar would be proud too. So, what do I wish I had known 10 years ago? A lot. I wish I had known that grief does not have an end date, that it evolves, that it shows up in messy, surprising, extremely inconvenient ways, but also that it can lead to growth and resilience and even beauty and happiness. And if you're listening today in your first year of loss, or maybe even your first month, please hear this. I know that it feels impossible now, but you will find your way. It doesn't mean it won't hurt, doesn't mean it's going to get easier, but it does mean that you will learn how to carry it, and you're going to be okay. So, thank you for listening to this reflection. Next week, I will be closing this series with a very special episode, so stay tuned. Can't wait for you to hear it. And if today's episode resonated with you, maybe take a moment to think about what you wish you had known at the start of your own grief journey. Honestly, sometimes writing it down can be healing, but feel free to drop it in the comments, send me a DM. And if this episode resonated with you, or you think it may resonate with someone else, please leave a 5-star review on whatever platform you're listening on, and send it to a friend who you think could benefit from hearing this episode. All right, guys, wish me luck. On Saturday, I'm giving a speech at our event in front of 500 people, so cross your toes and fingers, and I'll let you know how that goes. All right, we'll talk soon.